Some of our first mixed doubles matches moving through quickly. We have to serve Tyra Black and Dylan Frazier. Against Todd and Johnson. So both teams, quick hands, fast on the court, powerful drives. Super powerful in the middle. I love to see when Dylan Frazier makes that backhand flick on that left side of the court, and Tyra's already up there looking to close in that two-handed backhand. Fantastic movement again, just Dylan being super aggressive in the middle, and that's one of the few only on this court without a heavy tennis background. Dylan's been playing since he was maybe 11 or 12. But what I love about that is you see the difference in these players. Dylan is much more compact with his backswings and his strokes, which is a huge benefit to players versus, those of us who have a tennis background. We often have that limitation of maybe swinging just a little bit too big. And I'm really digging seeing these shorter preparations. We're very much trying to do that with as many of our kids as we can. I love the changeup too, the ability to play left and right. I believe I played with Dylan, PPA, San Clemente a couple years ago, and he did the same thing. He was kind of willing to play on both sides. He wanted to be able to be strong on either side as the male, which I thought was such a great way to make an all-around game in, especially the current mixed double state. It's not necessarily always about keeping the ball to one place anymore. Johnson waking up just a little bit there. Hunter getting kind of jammed up a little bit with that low speed up from Johnson. Hunter, Johnson, and Parris Todd played Olivia McMillan and Johnson Cola previous to this. And Tyra Black and Dylan Frazier played Gabriel Joseph and Camilla Zilvetti. It happens.
Yep, sometimes it's a matter of wishful thinking combined with maybe seeing a little bit out.
I mean, great hand speed. What I love about Tyra's game is she has a lot of variety on her shot. She can hit it very flat and compact, but also with a lot of spin. But a great hand speed battle. Essentially, she just got stuck a little bit too low. Parris was able to come up and get on top of a counter to get the ball back and get on the board a little more.
That's a great coach.
Oh, almost like Parris kind of popped it up a little bit on the previous ball and was surprised Dylan Frazier did not attack and just kind of overworked that next shot. And what I like about both these teams, too, is kind of like we were saying before, as a good poach, both women are going to be aggressive on those 5th shots and 7th shots, if at all possible. They're going to sit on that back two-handed backhand right there coming from the right side of the court.
Yeah, often the strategy is kind of keep the guy back, you know, but suddenly you have a woman poaching and makes it tough.
Very different. So I think that goes back to it's not always guy on the left necessarily every time, girl on the right, or who you are targeting.
Yeah.
You've just got to have much more well-rounded game.
Yeah, often play the ball rather than the opponent. Doesn't seem like he liked the bounce on that one.
And it's super windy. We could feel that wind coming across. It's I've been out there and the ball goes the opposite direction. It's just it's picking up. We have that hurricane on the Gulf Coast that we are probably going to get the edge of, so we're starting to feel the wind from that. So very likely we are going to be moving indoors tomorrow, probably afternoon, and for the rest of the weekend. So it's a great thing about this facility here at Lifetime that we have the ability to go indoors if needed, which does tend to happen a lot here, I won't lie.
Great cover by Dylan in the middle on that one. Those are tough ones with the middle, with the backhand. So it's a good read.
Mm-hmm. And we got a little bit of a breakaway at 5-3. I mean, great reaction from Dylan off the tape. And this goes again to look how compact that backswing he has. He really just goes straight to that hip. And that really allows the ability to adjust to a ball that's coming off the tape. Whereas if you're taking a bigger backswing, it's going to be a big struggle. And we are back here in the booth. Sarah Ansberry here with Camilla Zelvetti. And we have got one of our first mixed doubles match on grandstand court here. Very, very windy day here in Peachtree Corners, Lifetime Fitness.
Great defense. Unbelievable defense and great job by Parris and Hunter by keeping on the pressure and keeping them back and finishing it out.
Absolutely. Hunter's got some great stretch. I like seeing him kind of poke that forehand a little bit more in there. Great deep return.
Yep. He second-guessed that one, looked at it, you know.
Well, a lot of these balls, it is in this wind, a lot of balls, it seems they're going out, they're going in. You kind of have to be ready for everything out there right now. And I think Hunter absolutely had an opportunity on that ball, but it was almost like he wasn't looking for it. He was just trying to get to the line, and was surprised when that ball came into his reach. Definitely one of our longer dinking rallies. You know, I think that kind of favors a little bit of Parris and Hunter if they kind of maintain that point a little bit longer and try to be a little bit more patient. I think this is going to start leaning their direction.
I like that you changed it up between switching it up to the backhand to the forehand to Dylan as well.
Absolutely.
You know, get both players involved, get them out of the middle.
And I think, you know, other thing to recognize in that point, especially there's a combination of one-handers and two-handers. The importance of having, if you've got a two-hander, that one-hander is so important for reach at the non-volley line, defense and offense. But also just changing up the spin of the ball, often going from a topspin to a slice.
That's a good added pressure by Dylan, you know. Great drive, and that extra pressure makes you second guess yourself.
Absolutely.
I don't mind that speed up by Dylan.
Absolutely. Just I mean, it's willing to take that risks a little bit. I think essentially Hunter was just, I think, looking for it more. He was much more ready for that ball.
Good read on that.
And I really liked him going out for that backhand kind of wide and just immediately turning that backhand into a forehand, taking so much time away from Dylan. Oh, I love that. See that, you do see Tyra mostly hit with that two-hander, but the pop and the power she has when she flicks that with one hand, just it's a lot of power coming out very quickly. Very good spot. And again, this is a position that they've been in a couple times already, where Hunter's all the way at the non-volley line and Parris is all the way at the baseline. So if Parris doesn't really hit that ball in front of Hunter, it does open up a gap. I'd like to see Hunter just a little bit further back or Parris a little further in, one of the two, but that's a really big distance otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of what happened there. Dylan did back up to get to a little bit more, a little closer to Tyra, not even with each other, but still kind of maintaining a staggered position.
That's a great point of construction on that one.
Yeah, a little ambitious for Tyra Black. I think a few of these points now, she seems to be rushing. When Hunter and Parris are making these points a little bit longer, Tyra seems to be speeding up balls that maybe are not the most ideal.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Parris was actually ready for that. Yep. She had her hands up, and she was having a lot of time. And Hunter just kind of reached in front of her, but not quite ready for it. So I think that's one of those times where maybe we take balls that we shouldn't. Now I like that. Speed up a little bit more from Tyra. She's a little bit higher up. She's getting a downward trajectory.
Yep, she found the hole in that one.
Yep. Could be doing differently.
I think that the points, they slow down a little bit. They've come out ahead for the most part. So just keeping patient on those or hitting the net cord, you know? That's that. If I were to tell them, hit that one again.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, Dylan is great with chaos. He's
he has some fast hands.
He wants those hands. He wants that kind of thing, and absolutely when they're playing the point a little bit more, they're absolutely creating more opportunities. That might have been the shortest point they received the whole game, actually, right there.
I'm actually quite interested to hear their thoughts on why they're not switching compared to those players who do switch.
When I think you were not here yet, I actually talked about that a little bit.
The benefits of
it's the positive both sides. I played with Dylan San Clemente a couple years ago, and we did the exact same thing. And he was like, I just think I should be as good on both sides. Yeah. But also that it's again, it brings the chaos. It's getting away from the actual lineup. So a lot of times people, yes, we do want to put our strengths. Usually the guy's gonna have the forehand in the middle, but also changing up the patterns, forcing your opponents to have different targets, creates a lot of options as a team if they're comfortable on both sides.
That's a phenomenal attack on that.
And there's been a few of those that Parris has kind of popped up a little bit. So I'm really glad Tyra stepped in and took that in the air and sped up, because I think she needed to do that. She shouldn't let any more of those go by her. And that gives a game point to Black and Frazier.
That was a great point to finish up that game.
Absolutely. A little just kind of overshooting goes to show you kind of that wind is a little bit chaotic right now, definitely coming into play. So
guaranteed pickleball play every week. No hassle, no paddle stacking lines, no worries. Join a pickleball league today and up your game with competitive, consistent, well-matched play. Connect with your local leagues, check live rankings on your phone, and play with ease. Whether you're there to socialize with your community, network across the net, or have fun playing your favorite sport, leagues are a stress-free way to enjoy your play. Find your closest league at pickleball.com and click leagues today to get started.
It gets hot out here.
Yep. Great shot.
Again, I think the question, just a reminder of our serving rules, that we have gone back to provisional serving rules for this event, and so you'll notice that when the ball is released, it is below the waist. There are things like a 45-degree angle that referees are looking for. It is, I think I've been asked about that more this week by random people than anything on the service. So it's a tricky situation. It's tough. It's difficult to manage. So I love that we're trying to find a solution to the problem, and we're still getting very powerful serves.
What several pro players' sentiments are is basically you kind of like, we don't mind big serves, but then kind of we might need a handful of more feet behind us, which if we're converting a bunch of tennis courts into pickleball courts, it's kind of logistically a bit harder to get venues big enough. And
Absolutely. It's when you're running into the back screen, it's tricky. These courts have a little bit more space, and what I feel like they've done very well, they've set, like, usually this facility is set up kind of a specific way. They've done it more, well, they've done it a little bit differently this time. They've created some courts with bigger space and changed the layout of the tournament a little bit, and I think they've done a fantastic job trying to create more space. And you even see one of the biggest problems about these bleachers that we are on right now on the side of the court is balls come off and they get lost, kind of like it just did now.
Yep.
It went over, but what they've done is put these like a court barrier system around. They're trying to make each event better, which is, it shows to you the amount of organization and planning that the PPA Tour is doing right now for these events.
I absolutely love this venue. I think I'll put this one in the top 3 venues of all the PPAs I've been to.
Yeah.
Oh, great defense.
Fantastic. I mean, Hunter Johnson, he was coming in. It looked like he was wanting that point. And great defense and counter attacks by Dylan Frazier and Tyra Black to turn that point around.
That is great. I guess that's the problem when, Dylan takes a little bit further out on the forehand side. It really just opens up the backhand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's 100% the pressure from Parris there, threatening that Ernie, and I absolutely love that.
And yet something we saw Parris doing in the first game, kind of, just making the opponent see a different look, threat. Doesn't necessarily mean they're always going to go, but that movement is key and very important to either get the ball to move somewhere, create a different type of opportunity. Pickleball is so visual.
Yeah, you end up watching your opponent rather than the ball, and, just add some extra little sightings.
And you can kind of see some issues with the wind in that ball and a few of those bounces, and they're doing a great job handling it. But even that right there, sometimes this wind, it seems like a ball is sitting right there, and it just is a little bit out of reach.
I think it was the right ball,
Absolutely.
Regretting that one. Such a great attack. Kept it really, really low.
And now we've got a little bit different start of this game, 5-1. And so I kind of wonder how much is it side related or play related.
They're keeping aggressive, which is working for them really well.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal hands by Dylan on that one.
Yeah, it just a little out of reach, a little frustration there, but
good lead. I love that.
I love the lob.
Yep,
I absolutely love it. It's the first time I think we've seen it here, and she does have a great forehand roll cross court, which is tricky in this kind of wind. So if she can dial that in, I hope she tries it again.
Yeah, me too. They were definitely not there.
Yeah.
Great angle on that.
Absolutely, and just keeping them back until they have that angle on the side, so they're willing to hit a few balls. I think a lot of times players in that position, it's tricky when a ball comes back over and over. Sometimes it's very easy to overshoot that last ball. Just kind of an unfortunate miss. It looked like it was building into the right kind of point.
Yeah, a little bit of indecision on that one.
Yep.
Forehand, backhand, and then you just end up missing it. Perfectly at the shoes. Exactly what, you know, we're told to do.
And it did seem like, you know, Hunter was watching her for so long on that, and almost moved in a little bit late. A little bit of a slider serve. It's something that Tyra does throw in. It's got a good amount of spin on it too.
Yeah, playing against it, she changed up the serves every single time, and honestly, even if it's not super hard, makes it pretty tricky. You know, you have to adjust to different types of balls, and adds that little bit of indecision of.
I mean, fantastic job. You see Dylan there, right there, exchanging paces on those balls. Parris doing a phenomenal job of still playing defense in that, and just that last one did it.
Nice little net tape on that.
Yeah, worked out there. Felt like it sounded like a kind of a little bit of a miss hit.
Great reset there.
Absolutely, especially you feel that wind breeze. You probably see that in the corners on camera.
Great scorpion there.
Absolutely, great spheres
really nice
too.
And low.
And what I loved about that was, you know, Hunter was in some defense on the left-hand side, but Parris really just maintained her position. She wasn't trying to cover or react. She was just there and ready for when a ball came her way. And we are at an 8-2 lead, very different than our first game. Fantastic. Again, that time Tyra left it a little bit up. Parris taking advantage of it. But again, great reaction because Tyra's has been stuck kind of low on those counters. But that time she was able to pop up and have a great counterattack back. And even though Hunter kind of he did outstretch and take that ball very far on the right side of the court, and maybe that left ball seemed a little bit too difficult, but it was the right thing to put pressure on that space, even if he's going to lose a few balls getting beat behind him. A little bit of frustration out of Dylan Frazier. It's true, they really just, they've been kind of stuck at this low score in this second game. But you see that body language, and that's the only time I get worried with Hunter is he does kind of sometimes have that body language where he's frustrated with himself. And he's had I think it's been very good most of this game.
He did not like that one. Tongue stuck out and everything.
Just a rare miss. We haven't seen many miss returns in this one, but like we said, that wind can really mix up a ball, and it really didn't seem like Dylan hit it too hard either, which I think was an intelligent play. He just went for like kind of a medium-paced ball.
that off pace again, as you mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, very low. Just if it was any harder, Hunter probably would have been fine on the counter, but just a really slow speed, kind of right up at that chin. I think that's a little Hunter pumping himself up a little bit because we are now at 5-8, so it's a little bit different. He wants to get that energy up and make sure he's taking them to a game 3. And
yep, smart timeout on
smart
that one.
timeout.
Yep.
Are in the second game here. We've got a little bit of a comeback here from Frazier and Black. And again, they are putting Tyra on the left side of the court, kind of putting her in a different position. And it's been working these last few points. I mean, fantastic setup from Dylan, stretching his way in, and suddenly we are at 7-8. So it really seemed a few points ago that Todd and Johnson were in control of this game. But I think that really, again, is a massive reminder of really how pickleball is. Momentum shifts quite a bit. Fantastic response around the post. And way to turn that around from that pickup from Dylan. Able to convert something on this end of the court. I really liked Hunter's movement there. He was, I mean, just moving a lot more, kind of like I said earlier, he was kind of up all the way up there while Parris was stuck at the baseline and they weren't really able to create anything. So he was a little bit more aware of his spacing and covering that middle. A little bit of a weird one.
Yep.
It's one of those that you kind of only can laugh at that you hit so poorly.
Yep. I would have liked to have seen one of them take it out of the air. That one that Hunter popped up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are hard because in the moment you're like, is it there, is it not? And you know, you end up not going for it. And after you're like, that was the one. And
again, in this wind, it can be very tricky.
Yeah.
You know, because you are going to risk more taking balls in the air when the bounce is going to help you adjust to the wind a little bit more. But I love this movement coming from Johnson. Much more pressure. He's picking up his feet, much lighter. I feel like the Johnson brothers are on my court more than anybody else when I commentate, so.
So you know their point patterns.
It's realizing that more and more now. They got a little bit of climb, but great time for Frazier and Black to be getting the ball back. I love that. I was kind of hoping for a lob there, and that I think was even better. It's still a changeup. That changeup is so important right now. Very well played point on the other end as well. I feel like both teams are just playing well right now.
Yep. Incredible.
Great speed ups and
good defense too.
And I think that's really important. So that's an opportunity. Parris probably could have taken that first ball in the air, but the bounce, she let it come up high. So that was really important for that ball as well. Sometimes that attack bounce is the best thing to do. We've got a game point on this end. I mean,
Great shot.
that was fantastic. Hunter was like, we're winning this point. I want this game. And Tyra's like, no, I don't think so. We got another game point here. And there it is. They get an error off the service return. I think that's the second
First
one for Dylan.
For them, no?
At Lifetime Fitness. We're in Game 3 in this mixed doubles round against Tyra Black, Dylan Frazier, and Hunter Johnson and Parris Todd. It's been super windy, and both teams have won the game on the far side. So, or on this side, I'm sorry. So we will see if that side makes a difference. Both teams, I feel like, are playing kind of up to their left. Like, it's a little shaky off and on for both of them, but I feel like they're much more in rhythm now. And great drive with the wind, and you can hear that gust. Like, there's all these black tablecloths by us, and they're moving towards us, and right in that moment too. So that was exactly the direction that Hunter did not want the ball to go.
That was a big return by Parris.
After this match, this is our last mixed doubles match.
Next up, we have Ava Ignatowicz and Jeannie Bouchard against Vivian David and Tina Pisnik.
Yep, it's going to be a good one. We've got a few more matches here tonight, so then we'll go into men's match, women's match, men's match. That is another missed return. Little frustration here. Not too many, though, in this game, in this match, all entire, I should say. And that's another one of those. What Tyra did well there is, because Parris is all the way back, just hit a little bit shorter with a little off pace, and especially with that wind coming, it's going to be a tougher adjustment. Fantastic cross-court drive, especially on that switch. And mind you, this is often why we return down the line when we're switching on the stack and don't return cross-court, because it opens up that opposite angle there. Sometimes it is worth the risk, but overall, it does create some maybe passing shot opportunities on that changing of positions.
I'll say that was a nice and lucky lob.
Yep,
Skillful a little bit, you know?
Yeah, nice and lucky. Yep. I mean, great coverage from Parris. She kind of knew that pattern from Dylan, getting pulled out wide and just immediately looking for that speed up in the middle.
I love how compact she was on all of those counters. You know, she really kept it just nice and controlled.
Absolutely.
Great spot again. You can see the patience rewarded. Todd and Hunter again.
Yep, it's definitely starting to get this game a little bit closer.
Yeah, you can see it was a great use of a timeout.
Absolutely.
Great firepower.
And now we are at 4-4.
Interesting to see them also stacking even on the serve side.
Absolutely, and that's kind of going to show you that
Yeah.
this is purposeful. This is they think this pattern is working against them. And I do agree, because what we were starting to see when Parris and
What a get. Beautiful.
Ooh, wow.
I love that.
Oh goodness, and that. I will admit it's getting chilly out here too. We're starting to feel that storm coming in. Wow, I love that, just that tiny bit, little flick.
Yep.
And I think that's, you know, something, you know, Parris has played a little bit longer than, say, Tyra. I think she's developed that short game, or I think she feels a little more confident in it. And just great pressure from Hunter Johnson.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like, hey, I'm taking Parris's ball. It's I'm stepping in and putting pressure, changing the angle that's coming to you. Like there's a lot of varieties in it. There are definitely times when, you know, they're taking the ball, but yeah, that is not one of them. They're playing as a team.
What happened there?
So it looks like there's a little thing on the right on the court that Tyra saw and was trying to adjust. So they're just reserving it, nothing special really. And I think we're seeing it's a lot of wind, and I think we're just starting to see more debris kind of going on the courts. And so this is a reminder, everybody, even though there's a lot of free roar drinks and pickle packs and all that kind of stuff, we get excited at these events. Pick up your trash. If you're on the court changing your grips, throw them away at the end, you know. So not only does someone else not have to pick it up, but they are not getting sprayed on other people's courts. And it is. We have these amazing volunteers all around us. I just got to take a second to thank all of them, because as I turn around, I'm watching someone carry a massive bag of trash across the grounds. And here in Atlanta, we tend to have our VIP booth. It's same volunteers. We love seeing all these people, because without them, these events do not happen. We don't get all this extra fun stuff for us. So remember to thank your refs and thank your volunteers, people.
And if you'd like to volunteer, we'd love to have you.
There you go. You know, when I first started, in our first couple years, we were required to referee matches.
As a player?
When you registered for a tournament, you either paid a referee fee, which is maybe $5 or $10, or you were required you ref 2 matches. So many of us refed matches coming in, and then when pickleball got more popular, then they don't want the big players that they're watching reffing their matches. So it changed a little bit. So it's a tough job out there. We have a great staff here at PPA. They travel all these tournaments. We always see these refs with smiles on their face and putting the effort in to make our matches run smoother. I love that. Again, that's Parris kind of working that corner. She knows that Tyra's going to drive that down the line and hitting kind of an Ernie right through. And then again, that's talking about that angle, because Dylan is all the way up at the non-volley line and Tyra's all the way at the baseline. So that's a big gap between the two. And so Parris saw the hole between them and took advantage of that line drive. Fantastic. I mean, just great coverage from all 4 players. We've seen, so this third game, really, Hunter and Parris have kind of been, even though it's tighter, they have been, you know, fairly in control, I think, of playing a lot more confidently.
I do love that they're not overstretching on it, especially sometimes when you see people getting ball back after back after back. It's like, it's hard not to just, you know, like want to smack it a little bit harder. They're just keeping steady with it at, you know, controlled but powerful, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's a super complicated position that people don't realize how much pressure it is when, even if you're at the net and you've got these high balls, you know, when your opponent gets 4 or 5 of those back, you're like, wow, maybe I need to do more.
Yeah.
So sometimes the best thing to do is just get the ball back over the net and make them play another ball.
I'll say Tyra and Dylan are phenomenal at that.
Absolutely.
They get balls back, and, you know.
There you go. It's another shot at, and
Great
that one,
shot.
Dylan was there. You saw him. He's looking immediately at the bounce. It was a weird bounce, and he's like, I should have that. Because he would often. They're great defensive players.
There you can see again one of like a little bit off spins, pace serve on it.
Yeah, very thoughtful, and then that sets up the whole pattern. So just, you know, again, every shot has purpose, serves, returns, placement. So the thought about it, changing the variety, and look at that. This is the first time that Tyra and Dylan have had the lead in this third game.
Yep, that middle one.
There you go. And Parris again looking for that outside of the court, but now Dylan kind of taking advantage of them moving nowhere. Yep. So we are back in this third game, 9-7 for Dylan and Frazier and Tyra Black.
Great spot.
Absolutely. And again, it's still anyone's game. That's a great thing about pickleball. I was watching a singles match a little bit earlier. They were up 9-1 and lost it 9-11. Great little counter.
Yep, might have hit a little bit, clipped the net on that one. That's a little bit of a off pace.
Look at that leverage. Hunter off the ground. He's wanted to finish that one, absolutely. And that's what they wanted. They want to get off a 7, make this match just a little bit closer. And this is what we were saying earlier, that softer game is setting up Johnson and Todd. They had it. And it almost looked like that was indecision more than anything. Parris had an opportunity, but just wasn't ready for it.
Great patience.
Absolutely.
Oh, good get. point.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh
What
my
a
goodness,
point!
that
That
was
was amazing.
absolutely incredible. I think that point should have been over 5 times at least.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
And such a momentum, you know, like,
Huge,
wow.
huge point. Great.
I'll go on my highlight reel.
I mean, and that is immediately like, no one's taking a timeout, but we are taking equipment breaks right now. We are tallying
thinking about
off
life.
a little longer. That is, you know, they don't want to go right to that next point. They want to get the closest thing to it. Both teams, honestly, because even after winning a point like that, you can just be very flat the next one. So that is giving a match point. First one for this side of the court. Well deserved so far. And that's what I'm talking about, is you can have this phenomenal, both ends.
Yeah.
And
that last point was highlight reel for everybody.
And then you just have a stupid miscommunication in the middle. But we still have a second match point opportunity right here. And wide open. And I honestly, she's hit almost every one cross court over there, so I'm kind of surprised that Hunter was pinching middle so much and not anticipating it. But